What's going on, members of the J area? My name is Ramos Jr. Welcome back to another predictions video with the Royal Rumble taking place this upcoming weekend from Indianapolis. You already know we're going to tackle all four matches that are currently scheduled on the card and try to give our predictions for each matchup. But before we jump into the first prediction, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel in order to stay up to date with all the pro wrestling content that we produce here on YouTube. And with that being said, let's go and let's jump right into the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. There was a point there where there wasn't a lot of expectation, not a lot of hype around the Royal Rumble matchup, at least for the women, because Nia Jax, for like the longest, was the only woman to actually have declared for the matchup, but that all changed within the last week. We've seen several women declare for the Rumble, people like Naomi, Bianca Belair, as well as Bayley, last year's winner. But I feel like the winner of this year's Royal Rumble is really a who's who. I think both the men and the women have a wide field of talent to where you really can't predict it. I do think, though, rather than having a surprise victory here, I think the winner of the matchup has already been announced. We look at the landscape of the women's division. Rhea Ripley is the world champion, Tiffany Stratton, the new WWE champion over on SmackDown, and I look at matchups. A lot of people know that I'm a big fan of Io Sky. I think she'd be a tremendous choice to win the Royal Rumble matchup, have a stellar matchup against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41, and then you have other talents, people like a Bianca Belair, who it's been a minute since we've seen her in the main event scene. She's been stuck in the tag team division alongside Jade Cargill and now Naomi, so could it be a little bit of a breakout moment for her? How about Becky Lynch, who's been gone for quite some time now? She lost the Women's World Championship to Liv Morgan earlier in the summer of 2024, so you know she's going to want to have her hands on that championship gold that she lost a long time ago. But for this video, I'm going to predict someone that has already declared for the Royal Rumble, someone we haven't seen in a little over a year. I think the 2025 winner of the Women's Royal Rumble matchup is actually going to be Charlotte Flair. She's going to be the first one to have win 2 Royal Rumble victories. The other, of course, happening at 2020 when she last eliminated Shayna Baszler. I do think that Charlotte Flair is in line for a championship opportunity. There's been reports of interest having her go up against Tiffany Stratton. I think that's a matchup that should deliver. 2 super talented, super athletic women fighting for the WWE Women's Championship. It's really just a matter of when it's going to happen. I think they're going to capitalize that at WrestleMania 41. Charlotte Flair wins her second Royal Rumble, goes on to face Tiffy time for that WWE title, and hopefully it delivers as the expectations would lead you and I to believe. Next up, finally, we have the WWE Tag Team Championships on the line. The first time since last year's WrestleMania, we're going to see the tag team titles defended on a premium live event. It's going to be the champions DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. They defend their titles against Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns. And it's going to be in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. We haven't seen one of those in quite some time on a premium live event, let alone a Royal Rumble. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. One of my chief complaints of last year in WWE was the lack of focus in the tag team division, but because of the introduction of like the Motor City Machine Guns, I feel like it's slowly begin to build up some momentum in the tag team division, specifically on Friday nights. The Motor City Machine Guns, of course, had won the tag titles last year and then recently lost the titles to a heel turn by DIY. I do think we're going to have an entertaining matchup. It has the potential to steal the show. I really think highly of both of these tag teams. I think we're going to go to a third fall. Rarely do we ever see it go 2-0 in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. I do think that DIY probably get the early victory by some sort of chicanery, some sort of heelish tactic that puts them over the edge 1-0, and then the Motor City Machine Guns are able to rack up back-to-back victories, and I think they regain those tag team titles and hopefully reclaim the momentum that they were already on upon joining the WWE. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but if you're anything like me and can't get enough wrestling content, then you should consider becoming a member here on YouTube. You'll receive access to exclusive content like unique videos, live streams, shorts, and a more behind-the-scenes look of the channel itself. On top of that, once you become a member here on YouTube, you will receive priority first replies in the comments, as well as special shoutouts in future uploads. And speaking of future uploads, you'll also be able to get to decide what will be the future topics in these future videos. You can join the J area and become a member here by clicking on the link in the description as well as in the link under the About Me section. This is your big opportunity to see the J area like no one else. We can't thank you enough for the continued support and the continued growth in the channel, so we don't want you to miss out on this exclusive offer. Now, let's get back to the video. Next, we have the WWE Championship. It's going to be on the line as Cody Rhodes, the defending champion, will be facing off against the so-called WWE Champion, Kevin Owens, in a ladder match. Now, it's well documented. The ladder match is my favorite stipulation. I love a good ladder match when you have the championship or briefcase, depending on the stipulation, hanging in the balance, and you have the individuals fighting one another to find the way to get to the top and retrieve the championship or briefcase, depending on the stip, of course. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens has kind of like a slow build. You know, Cody Rhodes had won the WWE title back at WrestleMania 40, had feuds against the likes of Logan Paul, Solo Sikoa, AJ Styles, but when it got to Kevin Owens, that's when it really became personal, and we see some backstory. We see some growth from both Cody and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, who was always a friend of Cody, he helped him finish the story last year in 2024. But then over the course of time, Kevin Owens began developing a little bit of envy, saying that Cody was the golden boy, that everything is handed to you, that you were treated differently than other members of the roster. And of course, Cody, the ultimate babyface, wanted to give his friend a championship opportunity. He thought he had earned that much. And Kevin Owens wasn't able to capitalize on the injury to Cody's knee. And because of that lack of intensity, Kevin Owens cost himself a championship in the process. We haven't seen Kevin Owens as a world champion since 2017, when Goldberg had defeated him at Fastlane en route to WrestleMania 33. But since their matchup at Bash in Berlin, we've seen Kevin Owens officially turn heel, turning his back on the WWE audience as well as his so-called best friend, Cody Rhodes, and, relatively speaking, maybe even Sami Zayn. There's a little tension in between there. Love what I'm seeing there. Kevin Owens then takes the WWE Championship, the Winged Eagle, of course, the one you see over my shoulder that I keep referencing during this story, and he takes possession of it, claiming to be the uncrowned, the rightful WWE Champion. It was on that night that he also delivered the pile driver to Cody Rhodes, and also he delivered a pile driver to Randy Orton not too long before, and really setting himself on this path of destruction. This paranoia, this crazed version of Kevin Owens is a welcome sight, very similar to what he had in NXT in those early days of the WWE during his Monday Night Raw debut. But when we have two titles, suspended above the ring, I think this is a great opportunity for a guy like Cody Rhodes to cement himself, of course, as the top guy, have the image of him holding both championships. I find it very difficult to believe that Cody Rhodes drops the title here leading into WrestleMania 41, especially since some of the teases of who is the potential Royal Rumble winner. I like the intrigue. I really appreciate them delivering a little bit of diversity when it comes to the main event scene. But I do think that Cody Rhodes emerges victorious. I think he defeats Kevin Owens. We get rid of this feud once and for all. Not that we need to. I really enjoy the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes stuff. But I do think we're moving forward. I think we're going to see maybe Kevin versus Sami at WrestleMania. And Cody, we're going to have to wait and see who wins the Royal Rumble, because there's a good shot that whoever wins that Rumble matchup will be choosing the American Nightmare as their selective champion for the match at WrestleMania 41. Now we have the main event. This is the big match, the Men's Royal Rumble. Dude, we have a lot of talent stacked up in this matchup. Individuals like Roman Reigns, CM Punk, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre. LA Knight, I could keep going on and on. There's a lot of talent when it comes to this year's Royal Rumble. I think it rivals that of the 1992 Royal Rumble. A lot of people have said that is the most star-studded Rumble matchup of all time. This one may give it a run for its money. And what I love about this year's Royal Rumble is there's so many different storylines to tackle. We've seen, I think I even forgot to mention Seth Rollins is in the Rumble, but there are so many interwoven storylines that have taken place in the Royal Rumble, but nothing like this. Of course, we have those years where it's like, okay, this guy's going to win the Rumble. It's fairly simple to call. Or other times, maybe it's 1 to 2 names, but this year you could make the argument there's about 3 to 5 names that have a genuine chance at winning the Royal Rumble. I think these people would include a guy like John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. I think those are 5 names that could legitimately win the Royal Rumble and have a program already set for WrestleMania 41. And you run down the list and you want to hear about the different stories. Roman Reigns lost the championship at WrestleMania 40. He wants to regain the championship that he held for 1,000 days and 316 and change as well. You look at John Cena, who's trying to get number 17. CM Punk has never main evented a WrestleMania. Sami Zayn wants to focus on himself and not his friends and finally dive into the next level of his career. And meanwhile, main event Jey Uso wants to solidify him as the real main event of the WWE. There are so many stars, so many potential storylines, and great matches to be had at WrestleMania 41. But this is a prediction video, so you know I have to share my insight and my thoughts and opinions for the Royal Rumble this year. Given that I think Charlotte Flair wins the Royal Rumble for the women, because it has been a minute there since we've seen Charlotte Flair. It makes perfect sense for her to go after Tiffany Stratton. A lot has changed in the division since her last appearance. But you look at the men's, and it's a wide array of talent, of individuals who have been heavily featured on TV, storylines across storylines, and again, interwoven with one another. I think the winner of this year's Royal Rumble is going to be someone that has never won a Royal Rumble. Yes, they are an established star, but I think CM Punk will win the Royal Rumble. He will cash in his opportunity to win a championship at WrestleMania 41. Now, we saw that interaction with Cody Rhodes this past week on Monday Night Raw, and that was a big selling point for me. I don't feel like we do things like that for no reason. They introduce that level of intrigue. And even if he doesn't choose Cody Rhodes, I could definitely see CM Punk go after Gunther for that world title. But I'm very much invested in what we could see from Cody versus Punk, 2 of AEW alumni, as well as 2 people that were not afraid to leave the WWE and of course come back later. CM Punk has never won a Royal Rumble. He's never main evented a WrestleMania, and I feel like that's on the agenda for not only Punk, but for the WWE as well. CM Punk is going to go down as one of the greatest of his generation, and possibly of all time, and to not have this accolade is one thing, but to add it to his already lengthy resume solidifies him as truly one of the best in the world. Who will he choose? I'm leaning towards Cody Rhodes, but I wouldn't put it past him to also choose Gunther, because Gunther wants to be presented as the best champion. Maybe a little bit of an ego there by Gunther. Why are you choosing him and not me? Nonetheless, I do think that Cody Rhodes will have a great feud and a great matchup at WrestleMania 41, and I'm leaning towards CM Punk as the one who will be challenging him then. Of course, if you enjoyed this predictions video, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, comment down below some of your predictions for the Royal Rumble itself. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel in order to stay up to date with all the pro wrestling content that is produced here on YouTube. With that being said, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.